and welcome to my tarot channel. Welcome to another reading from me. Today's reading is going to be on how do men see you, or what do men think about you, general impressions, the energies that you give off, everything connected to the impressions that men have of you. So this is irrespective of your gender. So yeah, pretty much I'm just going to be looking at general messages. And I have 4 piles for you to choose from, and this is for those of you who would like to choose with just crystals. You have pile number 1, the green aventurine. Pile number 2, the aquamarine. Pile number 3, the quantum quattro. Pile number 4, the blue calcite. So, just as a small parenthesis, I do want to remind you that I have chosen the crystals as usual based on intuition. So, not based on my personal preferences. I basically meditated upon the question, which crystals should I use from my collection for this reading with this particular topic, and these are the crystals that came out in precisely this order. So I even do this intuitively. And yeah, so these are your options, and once again I recommend you take some deep breaths, meditate upon the question. You can address it to a higher power, to spirit or God or whoever you follow spiritually, and meditate with your eyes closed while breathing, centering yourself, and then open your eyes and choose the first pile that stands out to you. And of course, if you feel drawn to more than one pile, you are free to listen to several or even all of the readings and just take whichever messages resonate. I will see you at your reading. So this is the selection for the Oracle cards for each pile. So Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 1, the people who chose the green aventurine? How do men see them? What can you tell me about pile number 2, the people who chose the aquamarine crystal? How do men see them? Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 3, the people who chose the quantum quattro? How do men see them? Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 4, the people who chose the blue calcite? How do men see them? All right. So pile number 1, you have laughter. All right. Pile number 2, you have breakthrough. Pile number 3, you have renewal of pace. Interesting. Pile number 4, you have celebrate differences. All right, very nice. Very nice. All right, let me zoom in. Okay, so once again, this is for those of you who would like to choose with both crystals and cards. So you have pile number 1, you have this card and or this green aventurine crystal. Pile number 2, you have this card over here and or this aquamarine crystal. Pile number 3, you have this card over here and or this quantum quattro crystal. All right. Pile number 4, you have this pile over here and or this blue calcite crystal. All right, so once again, you can pause the video if you need more time to choose. And I recommend you close your eyes, take some deep breaths, meditate upon the question, maybe address it to a higher power, God, spirit, however you want to call it, and then open your eyes and choose the first pile that stands out to you instinctively without overthinking. And of course, if you feel drawn to more than one pile, you are free to listen to several or even all of the readings and just choose whichever messages resonate. I will see you at your reading. So welcome pile number 1. This is your reading. If you have chosen this aventurine, not aquamarine, this aventurine crystal and or this card over here that says laughter. So this is going to be the shuffling phase. I'm going to be taking my time, but I'm going to add timestamps so you can skip directly to the interpretation. All right, let me start with some oracle cards. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 1, the people who chose the green aventurine crystal? How do men see them? Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 1, the people who chose the green aventurine crystal, sorry. I said sea because I was looking at seashells. Oops. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 1? How do men see them? Okay. All right, so we have acceptance, letting go, and you have hummingbird miracles. You are the joy bringer. You bless the world with positivity and love. Energy soars on your shining wings. Spread the miracle of happiness. Very nice. And polar bear mystic, know that challenges make you stronger. Have faith when you face adversity. Take time to rest, dream, and renew your strength. Embrace your psychic abilities. You carry the shaman within. Nice. And you have this with laughter. Laughter and miracles kind of go hand in hand because the miracles card says you are the joy bringer. So already there's a confirmation here that you're someone who brings joy. Very nice. All right, so let me start with some cards. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 1, the people who chose the green aventurine? How do men see them? Five of Swords, 8 of Cups, 3 of Cups, 6 of Pentacles, the Moon, the 9 of Pentacles. Okay. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 1, the people who chose the green aventurine? How do men see them? The 7 of Pentacles, the 3 of Pentacles, the 9 of Swords, the 6 of Swords, the Chariot, the Moon again. Ooh. Wow, this is already, yeah, very, very interesting. So, pile number 1, already when I got laughter with these kids on, like, I don't know if you can see this card. there are some kids on like magical horses flying through the sky, and it says laughter, number 47, which number 47 numerologically boils down to a number 11, which is a master number derived on number 2, which is ruled by the moon. And you also have the moon coming out twice. And then you have this card with, like, already when I got this other card that says you are the joy bringer, you bless the world with positivity and love, energy soars with on your shining wings, spread the miracle of happiness. So already this gives me a feeling that you come across as a really delicate person. There's something like a fairy energy here. And like, I'm not normally someone who believes in fairies, and actually, I mean, I'm not sure at this point because I've seen a lot of things that made me question everything. But I mean, I don't particularly believe in fairies or stuff like that. It's just, you know, this is the kind of energy, like, I guess the mythical fairy is kind of the energy that I'm getting. Like, I'm thinking Tinkerbell from Peter Pan. Like something like that, something that is very delicate and innocent, and you know, you bring out the best in people. I think people really see you as a pretty sensitive person, maybe even a bit vulnerable, because you also have the Nine of Swords. And it's interesting, you have the Three of Cups and you have the Nine of Swords underneath, which the Nine of Swords, by the way, is a card that has to do with anxiety. Hold on. I gotta fix something. Hopefully it will stay. So in any case, it has to do with friendship here, and then you have the Nine of Swords underneath. This makes me feel that you're someone who really cares. Like, you come across as someone who cares a lot about your friends. But I think a potentially negative energy here is you might come across as someone who cares too much about other people's opinions. You know, I feel like men see you as a person who bends over backwards for your friends, but they may not be willing to do the same for you. Like, they might think that you're someone who doesn't really know your worth well enough, and you have a lot of insecurities. You come across as someone who actually has insecurities and vulnerabilities. So again, this might be true, this may not be true. You come across as very, very feminine, because the moon is the most feminine energy out there. So I think men also, definitely, if you are a woman, but even if you are a man, you come across as someone who would make a great mother. Maybe, and again, this is all about how you come across, so don't get all defensive before I finish the reading, because it's really interesting. You have the moon with the Chariot underneath. So, and yeah, like I said, you have the moon twice. So this actually gives me like a contradictory energy. I wonder if some of you, again, if you come from an astrology background, maybe you have Mars aspecting your moon, maybe a moon-Mars conjunction in your horoscope, or you have moon in Scorpio or moon in Aries. But because there's like this energy of having a strong moon energy, but at the same time, you're pretty tough. Like, you also come across as someone who is not easily intimidated, and like, you're a go-getter. So I guess in a word, you come across as stoic. You know, it's like people can see that you have a soft, vulnerable side, but that you don't quit, you know? It's like you're someone who can suck it up and do the right thing, or keep going for whatever you want, despite any sensitivity that you might have, despite any obstacles. I wonder if some of you can have, like, you could have moon in the ascendant or in the Aruda Lagna, if you know about Aruda Lagna. Just throwing some astrological configurations out there, not particularly relevant. You know, you don't have to know astrology, I mean. And it's really interesting. You have a lot of number 3, a lot of number 9. So I'm getting Mars, Jupiter energy as well. 7 as well, so you might have Ketu, Rahu energy. Really interesting. So you have the 5 of Swords. Here's the thing. You come across as someone who is maybe... So I don't know if, you know, obviously this will depend on I guess, how much people know about you, but you could come across as a person who has been affected by past failures, past wounds, because of that Five of Swords energy. And because of that, I feel like you come across as someone who tries really hard to overcome your weaknesses and to prove people wrong, or like to prove maybe, yeah, prove the naysayers wrong, prove that you can make it, especially when it comes to finances and profession. But since you also have the Three of Cups, this is actually a confirmation of the Laughter card and the Hummingbird card, because you come across as a person who can be the life of the party, or like, even if you are not someone who's very extroverted, people really enjoy having you around, and you just have this kind of innocent playfulness about you that kind of puts people at ease, maybe specifically puts men at ease. But I definitely see that you also come across as a person who has a bit of a darker side, a more brooding side, because of the Eight of Cups. You know, and you definitely come across as focused on profession as well. You also come across as someone who is a good teacher, good at sharing information. And I think many men, since I'm talking about men, and especially when it comes to women, potentially romantic here, but even, you know, to men, especially gay men, like people, you know, men see you as kind of a refuge from the world. Like, they look at you and they think this person is a safe haven. You know, like, you can bring them peace. You make them feel at peace. You make them feel serene and relaxed, and you know, you have something soothing about you, maybe nurturing, you know, because of that moon energy. So even if you, but it's interesting, like I said, because you have this dichotomous energy of the Chariot and the moon. So it's like, again, it's like you may not come across very vulnerable at first, but people can like pick up, men can pick up the fact that you have this very soft, vulnerable side, and also kind of a girly, feminine side, and an innocence and a kind of pureness about you, purity, however you want to call it. But at the same time, it's like you have this very no-nonsense side to yourself that is very much a go-getter and good at taking care of yourself. You come across as pretty self-sufficient, ironically. And definitely you also come across as mysterious. It's interesting now that I realize you have this letting go card, and then you have the Eight of Cups, which to me kind of mirror each other. And again, or like the Eight of Cups is a confirmation. So I think, at least at the moment, at the time when you are seeing this reading, you come across as someone who is working on processing past hurts, past traumas, maybe. I think people come across, see you as someone who has suffered a lot in the past. They might even see you as a little bit traumatized, honestly, because the moon is, you know, it has to do with like childhood wounds, for instance, deeply rooted things, but it's also about intuition, psychic ability, and that's another thing. You come across as that, having that, you know, a bit of something bordering on psychic energy. It's also a confirmation of this polar bear with the mystic energy. So you come across as someone who is very strongly intuitive, imaginative, creative as well. They can also imagine that you're someone who's good at making a home and good at cooking and taking care of the home, just because of that like comforting moon energy, but also very sensitive, very creative. And you can easily read people's emotions. So this is pretty much what I can see from the cards, actually. So let me get some astrological insights. Spirit, what can you tell me about pile number 1, the people who chose the green aventurine? How do men see them? How do men see them? All right, so let's see. The 9th house, that's a bit of a Jupiter energy. The 10th house, that's about career. So you come across as very career oriented. 5th house, this is about fun and games. So I'm not surprised because you have the laughter. And 3rd house, this is communication and drive and courage. 3rd house kind of actually confirms the Chariot. Ketu, I'm not surprised. I did mention that you might have some Ketuvian energy. Then you have Taurus. And Mars, I'm not surprised because you have the number 9 so many times. And you have the Chariot, which I associate with Mars energy. And Cancer, which is ruled by the moon. Not surprised at all. Very strong confirmation. And some Virgo. All right, this is interesting. I did not see the Virgo coming. All right, so strong confirmations, also some extra information here. So with Ketu and Cancer, definitely, Ketu is the, like, probably more than the moon. Ketu is the one that is the most connected to psychic abilities, you know, having a kind of otherworldliness, being interested in things like paranormal activity, spirits, the occult, even things like astrology, tarot. So you have that. That's how you come across to men. Taurus and Cancer, like I said, they're kind of a confirmation of the moon energy, both of them. Even though Taurus is not ruled by the moon, Taurus is probably the second most home loving, probably, after Cancer, in the sense that, you know, Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Taurus is all about taking things slow, enjoying life, the small pleasures of life, beauty, you know, food, enjoying a good meal, you know, going to a beautiful show, listening to music, enjoying life day by day through small things. And so you have this kind of a solid and yet nurturing energy. Like, you probably come across as someone who's a good cook. Can I just say that? I said that. And a good homemaker. So you come across this way. I'm not sure if that's the truth or nothing or not, but, and also with the Taurus side, you come across as a sensuous person, and men could really like your voice. And also, because of the Taurus and Cancer, you come across as very feminine, right? If you're a woman, you probably, you know, men perceive you to be traditionally feminine, maybe voluptuous, you know, but yeah, feminine in one word. That's your energy overall. You come across as really feminine. But here we have the Mars, so that's the dichotomy there that I noticed between the moon and the Chariot. Mars, again, like I said, I would connect it the most with the Chariot out of all the planets and the signs. So this is a go-getter energy, assertive energy, and then, so you have this like go-getter, assertive, maybe even pioneering sort of energy, but at the same time, you're very feminine and, you know, girly even, and you have this kind of innocence about you. Like, again, this makes me think of that movie Alita, if you've seen it, like something like that. I think for some of you, that could be the kind of energy. It's like it's like even when you're tough, you're cute, which could probably annoy you, but that's kind of like how men see you. And yeah, with Virgo, you also come across as someone who's very capable of being analytical. You're thorough, very intelligent. You're very logical, capable of being logical, and attentive to detail. You know, you come across as someone who's, you know, doesn't miss a lot. Things don't just go by you unnoticed, you know, especially when it comes to things that have to do with intuition and reading people, because you also have the Ketu and the Cancer. So yeah, you come across as someone who has a very sharp perception. And also there could be with the Virgo energy. So with Taurus, Cancer. So again, this is maybe a bit too much, maybe TMI, but I think men might like your chest area because of that Cancer energy in the moon. Because, yeah, well, it's connected to the breast. So that might, you know, physically, that might stand out. And with Taurus, you know, what might stand out is your face. You might have nice hair, nice teeth, nice lips, nice skin, nice smile. Also with the Mars energy, you can maybe have a body that is pretty strong, like, you know, not the buffest of the buffest. I'm not talking necessarily Xena, the warrior princess, but you can be also a bit athletic. It's like looking at these energies, you're kind of perceived as that middle ground between having a nice womanly shape, but also having a pretty strong body, like a tough, resilient body, you know, and quite athletic sometimes. And also with Mars, you have that touch of being adventurous. And also with Virgo, there could be something about your hands, and maybe, yeah, your hands and your arms are something that catches the eye when it comes to men. And now looking at the houses. So with ninth house, you come across someone who's wise, adventurous. 10th house, like I said, is a confirmation of all the pentacles. So you definitely come across as very brave. The third house is also a confirmation of the Chariot and the Mars energy, because the third house in Vedic astrology, at least, is about courage. So it's about willpower. So you come across as someone who has a strong will, and very self-motivated and ambitious when it comes to your profession. Responsible as well. And a good teacher with the ninth house. And with the fifth, actually, you definitely come across as a good teacher, because you have the Six of Pentacles and you have the ninth and the fifth houses, both of which are connected to teaching. And fifth house is about fun and creativity. So you also come across as someone who has a fun side, who can be creative, maybe even a little bit childlike, like these cards suggested, like the hummingbird and the laughter card. You know, so you're definitely someone who, it's like, you can be serious when you have to, but you also come across as someone who can have a good time, you know? And maybe let loose every now and then. Yeah, so this is pretty much what I can see for you, pile number 1. And I hope that you have enjoyed it. And if you have, do not forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And click on the notifications bell to see when I will post a new video. And also, please comment in the comment section, because I'm curious to hear how much it resonated and what resonated, what didn't. And also, if you're interested in a personal tarot reading, you can check out the video description. I will leave my contact information, and you can contact me for further details. And also, I will leave a link in the video description to reviews that I've gotten for private readings before. Also, last but not least, I also have an astrology channel, and I will be linking it in the video description as well as in the pinned comment. Go ahead and check it out. Maybe subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, and I hope to see you at my next tarot reading. Bye! So, welcome pile number 2. This is your reading if you have chosen this aquamarine crystal. And or this card over here that says breakthrough with the number 8. So this is going to be the shuffling phase. I'm going to add timestamps. You can skip through it if you don't want to, you know, sit through this phase. You can skip directly to the interpretation. All right. So, Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 2? How do men see them? The people who chose, okay. The people who chose the aquamarine crystal, how do men see them? Spirit, what can you tell me about pile number 2? How do men see them? The people who chose the aquamarine crystal. All right, so you have this squirrel, always prepared. You are the expert of hard work and hard play. Your cheerful and fun disposition is a blessing to everyone. Don't let life's distractions take you off course. Make a plan for the future and life will give you all you need. Nice. Cougar, assertive. In silence, you find power. Claim your leadership role and take action. You know where to go and what to do. You have the courage and confidence to succeed. Nice. Interesting. I'm getting Saturn, Mars energy already, but let's see what else is going on in the cards. Blessings. Okay. And abundance. All right. So you already come across as someone who has it together, I think. Oh, let's see. Can you see? Yeah, you can see them pretty much. All right. So let me get into some cards. Spirit, what can you tell me about pile number 2, the people who chose the aquamarine crystal? How do men see them? What do men think of them? What can you tell them, Spirit? The Acrobat, which is the Page of Stones, or the Page of Pentacles. Ooh. Merlin. Wait a minute. This is number 0, the hero. This is not the Magician. This is the Fool. Okay. So the Fool, the 7 of Stones, or the 7 of Pentacles. The Wheel of Fortune. The 6 of Cups, the Ace of Cups. Nice. Okay. Let's see. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 2? The people who chose the... Ooh. Okay, the Lovers popped out. The people who chose the aquamarine crystal. How do men see them? So you have the Lovers, the first one that popped out. Ooh, another Ace. Ace of Swords. The 3 of Wands. The King of Pentacles. I'm not surprised because I was getting this really down-to-earth energy. 4 of Cups. Interesting. And the Devil. Ooh, actually, this was a confirmation of something that I was thinking, but I didn't want to say it. But now that I have the Devil, I'm going to say it at some point. Okay, I'm going to say it. So you have the Cougar, you have the Ace of Cups, and you have the Lovers, and you have the Devil. So clearly you're someone who triggers a lot of intense emotions, you know, a lot of passionate emotions. People see you as men see you as really attractive. You know, I think men see you as the perfect blend of romantic and passionate and, yes, sexy to some extent. I mean, you have this Devil card here. Because of the Devil card, you also come across as, this is weird, like either you are perceived as someone who might be struggling with addiction. I mean, see how this resonates. Or, I mean, it could be both of these things, actually. And, or, men see you as someone that they could get addicted to. Like, someone who could drag them down to the dark side. You know, like, bring them to ruin. You know, somehow, like, yeah, I feel like it's like a mix of attraction and fear that a lot of men have for you. And yeah, but because you have that cougar energy, I think you're the kind of person that a lot of men want to secretly tame, right? This is just like the first thing that kind of stood out to me. But let me get into more. You have number 8 with breakthrough, and you have squirrel with always prepared. So I think you also come across as someone who is very serious and doesn't leave things to chance. You come across as very in control, you know, also because you have the King of Pentacles. So I think most likely you come across as someone who really has it together, you know, someone who is, I think worst case scenario, I don't know if you've seen The Office, but this makes me think of Jan. I'm sorry, I don't want to offend anyone because, like, if you've seen The Office, Jan is not the most likable character overall, but she has her qualities. But this is like probably worst case scenario of how men might see you. It's like they might see you as tough, but they also kind of secretly find you very attractive. But you would, yeah, could have this kind of really in control, down to earth sort of energy of maybe you might even be someone who manages others, you know, or someone that a lot of people look up to, so they find that energy kind of attractive. But you definitely come across as someone who is well off financially. So whether that's the truth or not, of course, you know that. But you come across as someone who can handle themselves, their finances, you know, has a plan. That's why you have this like always prepared sort of energy. It's like gives me this kind of Capricorn Saturn energy. A lot of earth energy in any case, you know. You are someone who knows how to store preserves for rainy days, right? You have your stash, your emergency stash. You're kind of like a prepper. I mean, this is how you come across. You come across basically as someone who can handle crisis situations because you also have the Wheel of Fortune. So, like, men see you as someone who maybe, again, depending on what your reputation is, maybe you are even known to have gone through some difficult situations before and have made it. This is like, makes me think of someone who's a surfer. You're just riding the waves of life. Like, life is just throwing you up and down it, but you keep maintaining your equilibrium. So this is how men see you, as someone who is really, really capable, I think. Also with this Fool energy, it's interesting you have Fool and the Ace of Swords underneath. You come across as someone who has a lot of original ideas, an original perspective on life. You also come across as someone who is not afraid to go after what you want, but you might come across as a bit impulsive. You also come across as someone who is very adventurous, you know, maybe not very, quote unquote. Of course, there could be various degrees. There will be a lot of people watching this, but you come across as someone who is adventurous, definitely. You come across as someone who loves to travel. If you are on social media, maybe you post a lot of pictures from your travels. And I think men generally see you as someone who's pretty well traveled. And they might even see you as pretty adventurous. Like, you could be someone who is not afraid to maybe go on an adventure by yourself, or have different experiences that most people would be afraid to go for, you know, but you're enjoying it. You seem to be enjoying it. Yeah, so this is the kind of energy. But yes, you come across as someone who just has some really adventurous energy and kind of like experiences from many cultures, if that makes sense. You could also just give off this kind of a vibe of being exotic and maybe coming from some mystical faraway land. Depending on the situation, maybe some of you are coming from a different culture than the general environment that you live in. So if that is the case, that's probably a message for you. You come across as quite exotic, and that's attractive to a lot of men. Because you have the Six of Cups, and then you have the Four. Wow, look at this. Oh my God, how could I miss it? The Four of Cups in this context, it's just further it's further emphasizing the message that men see you as someone who's really attractive. They see you as someone who has a lot of choices, and they definitely see you as someone who's very picky, especially if you're single. I think a lot of men look at you like, why is this person single? I mean, the only reason why this person is single is probably because she's extremely picky and nobody's ever good enough for her standards. Because you can see here in the Four of Cups, I mean, Four of Cups is a card that has to do with choices and boundaries. But in a romantic context, potentially, it's about having a lot of choices and not really being happy with either of them. And this is kind of exactly what this card suggests. Like, if you see here, there is a guy in the background that is basically calling on this woman, and she just sits there looking bored, drinking her wine or whatever she's doing. You know, not happy with the fact that she's being called on. So yeah, you definitely come across, I think so, because you have these cards, maybe some men could see you as difficult to approach, or they think there's no point in approaching you because you already have rejected so many options, or the fact that you are single and you're so attractive maybe is a signal that there's something wrong, right? But I think, but since you also have the Ace of Cups and all of these cards like the Lover and the Devil, I think men see you as someone who they could fall in love with, definitely, because the Ace of Cups is just love, you know? So they see you as someone who is, you know, the kind of person that maybe a lot of men would want to fall in love with. And the Six of Cups shows there's a kind of a childlike innocence there, and playfulness, and kind of fifth house energy. So Leo energy, you know, someone who's creative and playful and can just enjoy life in the moment, basically. So yeah, this is pretty much what I can see from the cards. Now let me get to the astrological notes. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 2? How do men see them? How do men see them? Okay, is this enough? How do men see them? Spirit, what can you tell me for file number 2? How do men see them? I think, how do men see pile number 2? All right. So, Venus, am not surprised. Of course you have Venus, because the Lovers. Gemini, youthful energy. This is kind of a Six of Cups energy, actually. Cantu, interesting. This came out for pile number 1 as well. So if you feel drawn to pile number 1, maybe check it out. 12th house. Oh, I started with the houses. I should have finished with... All right. The Moon, interesting. Very feminine energy. Mercury, more Gemini energy. All right. So you have 12th house, 1st house, 2nd house, 12th house again. Wow. You're very psychic. This is interesting because this didn't really come out from the cards. Ketu in the 12th house twice. So you are very intuitive. 2nd house again. Wow. So the 2nd house and 12th house came out twice. Very interesting. So with Ketu and the Moon, you come across as a person who's very intuitive, very feminine as well. You would definitely come across as very feminine. But there's also a bit of a touch of an androgyny to you because you have this Mercury energy. This Mercury is kind of like a Peter Pan sort of energy. This is an energy of someone who is like forever young. I'm getting that song in my head of Forever Young by, what was it, Alphaville from the 80s. Anyway. That kind of energy of being youthful and curious and kind of like maybe jumping around from one thing to another. You can come across as sometimes a bit of a social butterfly. Interesting. But, oh, another thing that makes me, that really strikes me now, because I said initially that you come across as someone who can handle situations, crisis situations. Well, that is connected to Scorpio. And when when I saw this 8 with breakthrough, number 8 is connected to Scorpio, because Scorpio is the 8th sign. And the 8th house is also about sudden changes and transformation. So that made me think of the Wheel of Fortune. And Ketu is the co-ruler of Scorpio together with Mars. So there is this emphasis of you being tough and being able to handle things. But there was one thing that the cards didn't say, and these notes are saying, that you come across as a pretty isolated person. It's like, I mean, maybe isolated is not the best word, but you come across as someone who maybe is just detached from everyone. Like, you can spend long periods of time alone. Maybe you don't come across as particularly sociable, even though you could have your social charms and maybe a lot of people like your company. You're still not the most sociable person looking at these cards, you know? And the 12th house is a house that shows isolation, and it came out twice, you know? It's about isolation, being kind of shut in, you know, kind of removed from the rest of the world. So this could be like literally, you might be someone who spends a long time in isolation, or you just come across as someone who is pretty detached, like you don't really need anyone. You almost kind of seem a little bit like a hermit, and I think that in this context can make you come across as difficult to approach. And the first house also can make you seem, I don't want to say selfish, but pretty yeah, first house, by the way, is kind of like a confirmation of, it goes hand in hand with the 12th house, with the K2 and that Cougar card, that you can handle your own business very well, right? So you have this aura of self-sufficiency about you. But at the same time, you're very attractive, like, obviously, from these cards. Second house is the house of the face and the voice. So for you, these are the things that stand out. The moon is also about the face, and it's also about the chest area, especially if you're, actually, not just if you're a woman, if you're a man as well. Basically, with the moon here, this shows that your chest area can be particularly attractive to men. And the second house also shows your face and your voice are very attractive. 12th house could be your feet, which is interesting. First house is just your overall body and your aura. With Venus, you definitely, yeah, like Venus is the ultimate confirmation of the lovers and all of these cards that I said. Also, the Devil card is, sorry that I'm jumping around, but the Devil card is also kind of a scorpionic energy, you know? It's like, to me, both of these cards, the Lovers and the Devil, are ruled by number 6, which is ruled by Venus in numerology. And so this is the confirmation, but it's like the Devil card is like a dark side of Venus. You know, Venus is about love and passion and all that, and the Devil is about the dark side of love. So that's another thing. It's like, and again, I'm sorry, I don't want to offend anyone, but with the Devil card, it's like some men could be projecting their more dark fantasies on you. So be careful about that, because it's like the Devil card just is kind of like this, how should I put it? Yeah, you can come across as like a cult, but having like a, you know, I'm getting Black Magic Woman by Santana playing in my head, that kind of energy. So it's like you come across as something of a wild stallion, you know, that is kind of mysterious, and, you know, a person that you could really just get to know for a long time without ever getting to the bottom of who this person is. So you could attract some weirdos. Be careful, because yeah, especially with the Venus energy here, because Venus just shows that you come across as attractive. That's just it. And also Venus and the second house coming out twice, you definitely have a pretty face. Most of you, I feel, that's what men look at, especially your eyes, your lips, your skin, your smile, your hair, and your figure overall. And Venus is, what was I going to say? Also the voice. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So you can come across as someone who has a really nice voice. That's something that stands out about you. Also, what stands out maybe is you could have artistic ability. So you come across as someone who is artistic, creative, but it may not necessarily be that you are active in a creative field. It's just that everything about you is somehow artsy. Like you put a little bit of a touch of beauty in everything that you do, like your energy overall. And also Venus is about something about a soothing, healing energy as well with the moon, and very psychic. They see you as, definitely, I feel like some men might fear you because you have that devil and 12th and Ketu. This is like, again, Black Magic Woman by Santana. Listen to that song. This is like, you know, I feel like men are afraid. Some of them might be afraid that you might hex them if they piss you off. But it's like they also sense that you have a gentle, vulnerable side as well because of that moon energy. And with the moon energy also, they might project their desires of having a family and having babies with you. And also with the moon energy, they might see you as someone who could be a good mother despite all of this, right? And also with Mercury and Gemini, very intelligent. You come across as very intelligent and resourceful. That's the word. Good communicator as well. And someone who is having a lot of interests. You can have, you know, many interests at the same time. So yes, this is pretty much what I can see for you, pile number 2. And I hope that you have enjoyed it. And if you have, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And please like the video and also hit the notifications bell to see when I will post a new video. Also, please comment in the comment section with any feedback you would like to give, which parts of the reading resonated, which didn't resonate, anything you would care to share. Also, potential ideas for future readings, that would be appreciated. And also, if you're interested in a personal tarot reading, you can check out the video description. I will leave my contact information there. I've also left a link with reviews that I have gotten for private readings from other clients before, if you're curious to see them. And also, last but not least, I have an astrology channel, and I will be linking it as well in the video description as well as in the pinned comment. So if you're interested in astrology, go ahead, check it out, maybe subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. So, thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you at my next reading. Bye! So, welcome pile number 3. This is your reading. If you have chosen this Quantum Quattro crystal, and or this card right here, which says Renewal of Peace with the number 13. So this is going to be the card selection process. I'm going to add timestamps so you can skip through this if you don't want to sit through it. Spirit, what can you tell me from pile number 3, the people who chose the Quantum Quattro crystal? How do men see them? How do men see them? Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 3, the people who chose the Quantum Quattro crystal? How do men see them? So let's see. Ooh, you have sea turtle protection. You are a master of finding life's flow. Be in harmony with the rhythm and your path will unfold. Persevere and you will succeed. You have everything you need to be protected and happy. This already kind of confirms the first card, but okay. Be community. You are a powerful creator. Your work blesses everything you touch. Be open to receiving sweetness. You are the queen of abundance. Oops. Sorry. Candle went out and it distracted me. Inner knowing. Breaking free. Interesting. All right. All right, so let me get some tarot cards Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 3, the people who chose the Quantum Quattro crystal? How do men see them? What do men think of them? The Ace of Cups, the World, the Two of Wands, the Four of Swords. Already confirmation. This is a confirmation of this card. Similar imagery. And the number 4. Here you have 13, which boils down to a 4. 5 of Wands. And the Hermit. All right. Spirit, what can you tell me about pile number 3, the people who chose the Quantum Quattro crystal? How do men see them? What do men think of them? How do men see them? Oh, one more. Spirit, how do men see them? How do men see pile number 3? The Witch, which is the Magician. The King of Swords. The 8 of Cups. The 3 of Wands. The Chariot. The Star. Very nice. So, can I just say, if you feel drawn to pile number 1 or number 2, check them out because there are a few cards in common, but only if you feel drawn to them. Alright, so this is really interesting. First thing that stands out, actually the first thing I did say it, but I'm going to repeat it because it was during the card selection. You have this card, the 4 of Scrolls, which is the 4 of Swords. And if you look at these cards, they really have similar images, right? Someone who is resting, and you have the number 4. The card on the left has the number 13, which in numerology boils down to number 4 if you add the digits. So you come across as a person who, and then you also have this card with inner knowing. You come across as a person who is very self-possessed. You have a lot of self-control. You are interiorized. You have a lot of self-knowledge. And you know yourself very well, basically. So that makes you come across as very stable, pretty tough as well. You know, you're not someone who's easily shaken by events in your life. And the second thing that came out to me is you have 3 cards, the 2 of Wands, the 3 of Wands, and the World, that speak of travel and foreign countries. So this shows me that you come across as someone who's really adventurous. You know, you may be someone who has traveled a lot. Maybe you come from a multicultural background. Maybe you have lived in multiple countries. Maybe you speak multiple languages. But something about you comes across as really very adventurous, exotic, foreign to the general population of the environment that you live in. So yes, that's something that really stands out. But there's also, you know, the 2 of Wands is a card that speaks of hesitation. And then you have this card that says breaking free. So this is interesting. Either, like, depending on the person who's watching this, some of you maybe have already broken free, quote unquote. Maybe you have changed your lifestyle radically and people know about that, or they see you as someone who is stuck in a lifestyle that doesn't suit you or is clearly making you miserable. But either way, men see you as someone who is stuck in a situation that is not really helping you, that is not really in alignment, quote unquote, if you want to use that word, from the spiritual community, that you're not really in your alignment with your true self, with your true purpose. So let's say you're someone who likes to travel. Maybe you post a lot of pictures on Instagram about traveling, but you're stuck in a corporate job, for instance. And men can see that you are miserable about that. But they can also kind of see that there is, so it's like you come across as someone who has the potential to really completely break free, but you also have a lot of hesitation. So again, this depends on the person who is watching this. Some of you maybe have already broken free. Some of you are kind of fall in that first category of you're still kind of figuring things out. Maybe you're still on the fence about making a giant life change. But breaking free can also literally just mean for some of you that you have moved to a different country. Maybe you have left some kind of a difficult situation in your home country and have left. Oh, you have 4 cards that speak of foreign cultures and travel. You have the 5 of Wands as well, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if many of you who chose this pile live in a different country than your homeland, because men see you as someone who's really foreign, like multicultural, coming from a different background. Another interpretation, though, with the 5 of Wands, since you also have the Chariot underneath, is you could come across as a little bit argumentative sometimes. If not downright argumentative, opinionated. You're not afraid to speak your mind, and you're not afraid to burn some bridges to get what you want because of this Chariot energy. So you're very driven, assertive sort of person. And the King of Swords reinforces that, the Magician as well. So basically, men see you as a powerful manifester, someone who really is good at getting what you want. It's like they can't quite work out how you do it, but you pretty much succeed at achieving what you set your mind to. This is why you have a lot of cards here that kind of suggest someone who is closed off. Also the Hermit, right? The Hermit is also kind of a confirmation of the 4 of Swords and that renewal of peace card or oracle card, in the sense that you may come across as, pretty distant from the rest of the world. Like for most of you, I think you're like the epitome of being of the world but not of it, or being in the world but not of it, that saying. So, and also you are with the Star, some of you might have a large social media following, but you come across as someone who's really successful, really attracts attention. And so the Star also means very likely you come across as attractive. And with the Star especially, I'm getting like you could come across as attractive in a very unique way. Like there is something about you that really stands out. I wouldn't be surprised if you have like Rahu energy, Aquarius energy. King of Swords also is kind of an Aquarius energy. So you are also coming across as a very rational person. So I feel like people look at you as so advanced that you are planning every step. You're like planning 10 steps ahead, and you might have some secret to getting things that you're keeping to yourself and not sharing to anyone. This is why you have the Magician card here. Like I said, a powerful manifester. But you also come across as quite generous and giving back to the community. In fact, the Sea Turtle with protection is yet another confirmation of the 4 of Swords and the renewal of peace energy, because it's not about necessarily protection, it's about self-protection. It's interesting, it says you are master of finding life's flow. Be in harmony with the rhythm and your path will unfold. Persevere and you will succeed, right? So the turtle, from the proverbial, from, I don't know, from that story or whatever it was, fable with the turtle or the tortoise and the hare. So again, this makes me think that you're a person who is slow but thorough, you know, and that's how you come across. You're like slow and steady wins the race, the epitome of that energy. It's like you're probably someone who, for long periods of time, you seem to be just not be making a lot of progress in life, and then all of a sudden you hit it big. And you know, you're like the stories of those successful people who seem to be successful overnight, but in reality they were quietly working at their craft for 20 years but nobody knew about them. You know, you can think of actors, for instance, who were all of a sudden hit a role when they were 50 and they became super famous. And people were like, who is this person? Where did they appear from? But in reality, they were working as actors for 20, 30 years. It's just that nobody noticed them, you know, until they hit it big. So that's kind of the energy that you project, you know. It's like you're someone who's very perseverant, very patient. And also very determined, a lot of willpower with a chariot as well. For some of you more specifically, you could just really like to drive around. You come across as someone who just likes adventures, like you might be interested in cars or other vehicles. You like to maybe, like for instance, someone who's into camping or just driving around, traveling. Again, more specific, very specifically for some of you, you can come across as someone who likes stargazing, is into astronomy, maybe astrology as well. But definitely, you also have a touch of being interested in magic, but you're very secretive about it. And with the Ace of Cups, you come across as someone that I think a lot of men kind of secretly might have a crush on, you know, or they feel like they could fall in love with you, you know, if you gave them a chance. This is like actually literally was thinking of the Love Witch, because you have like the Ace of Cups, which is about love, and you have the witch underneath. So it's like a lot of men, I think, can really think of you romantically. They project a lot of romantic fantasies on you. And you could have that kind of energy that, you know, men may think this person is not my type, but yet they still feel magically drawn to you. That's kind of like, why am I attracted to this person sort of energy. I know this is pretty specific, but this is what I'm getting from these cards. So yeah, this is pretty much what I can get from the cards. So let me see what I can get from the astrological notes. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 3? How do men see them? How do men see them? Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 3? How do men see them? I'm not getting this one for some reason. Okay. Virgo. Aries. I'm not surprised because that's chariot energy. Ketu. Interesting. That's the magician energy. Jupiter. That's all the travel energy going on here. And Mercury. Intellectual energy. All right, so a lot of you have a lot of intellectual energy as well. You're very smart. First house, 9th house, which is more Jupiter, travel energy. 10th house is about career. Second house, which is about the voice and the face. All right. So I'm getting some confirmations and some extra energies, yes, that didn't come out through the cards here. So you come across as really youthful, very intelligent, but also very self-sufficient. This is the Virgo energy, is that self-sufficient energy to me. And also that Ketu energy, because Ketu is an energy that shows kind of detachment. It is the card connected to the Hermit, and you also have the Hermit. So yeah, my case is closed. And you have that Aries energy, which is a confirmation of the Chariot, and the Jupiter, which is a confirmation of what I said, all the travel cards. So you definitely come across as someone that could be from a foreign culture, that comes from a multicultural background, or someone who has traveled a lot. And you could also be coming across as someone who's really youthful in energy. You stay young somehow. Maybe this has something to do with the Magician card. It's like men look at you and like they don't even realize why you look so young. Because really it's like with Mercury, your youthfulness stands out to men, most likely. With Aries, again, there's kind of a feistiness. There's also with the first house, there's a feistiness and an energy of being a go-getter. Maybe even for some of you being athletic, outdoorsy, you know, liking adventures, like I said. But with Virgo, there's also that energy of, you know, I mean, Virgo is someone who likes to be of service, is very bookish, smart, attentive to details. You know, Virgos are people who can be accountants or office workers. So this kind of like fits into what I said, that some of you could be maybe in a job that you are not finding fulfilling, and you have this other side that is more adventurous. That could be explained through the Virgo energy, you know. This is interesting. You have Virgo and you have this card with B, community. So you definitely come across as someone who cares about being of service and, you know, gives back to the community. Maybe some of you are in healthcare, or if you're not in healthcare, you come across as someone who could be good at healthcare. And the things that stand out about you when it comes to your overall personality, physicality, what stands out about you is your face, your voice, your dedication towards your career, the fact that you probably have a decent status and decent job. And you also come across as adventurous, definitely, like I said, multiple confirmations. And your physical body in general, like you could come across as pretty strong physically, athletic maybe. And this is very specific and maybe a little bit TMI, but for some of you, your thighs are particularly attractive. And there's a double confirmation of that, the 9th house and Jupiter. So another thing is your smile. You can have a great smile. And your hands and your arms could be particularly attractive as well. Also, the way you communicate. Not just your voice, but the way you communicate is attractive. You come across as a very smart person, a good communicator, really wise, well-read, educated, and also mysterious. And you definitely have that right with the Ketu, which is kind of a confirmation of the Hermit and the Witch card, you know? This is a really mystical sort of energy. So you also have that mystical side, that very introverted side. So that's a confirmation of the Four of Swords and the original Oracle card, like I said. Like, you have this aura of you're gonna be okay no matter what. Like, you have this aura of self-sufficiency about you. Alright, so this is pretty much what I can see for you, pile number 3, and I hope that you have enjoyed it. And if you have, don't forget to like and subscribe, and click the notifications bell to see when I will post a new tarot reading. And also please comment in the comment section with any feedback you would care to give. Did it resonate? How? In which way? And also any suggestions you might have for future videos. I would greatly appreciate that. Also, if you're interested in a personal tarot reading, you can check out the video description. I will leave my contact information there, as well as a link to reviews that I've gotten from previous clients in case you're curious to see them. Also, last but not least, I have an astrology channel as well, and I will be linking it in the video description as well as in the pinned comment. So if you're interested in astrology, go ahead, check it out, maybe subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. All right, so thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you at my next tarot reading. Bye! So, hello pile number 4, this is your reading if you have chosen this blue calcite. And or this card over here that says celebrate differences with number 3. All right. So this is going to be the card shuffling phase. You can skip directly to the reading. I'm going to add timestamps. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 4, the people who chose the blue calcite? How do men see them? Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 4, the people who chose the blue calcite? How do men see them? Wow. Dragon supernatural. You are the ancient wise sage. You can shapeshift at will. Mastery is your destiny. Rise with dignity. Orca whale adventure. Dare to do things differently. Sing your wild song. Manifest your travel dreams. Attempt the great journey with confidence. Be loyal. Friends and family are your treasures. Be brave. You are more powerful than you know. All right, so I'm already getting this larger than life sort of energy here. Let's see how this continues. Then you have ask for help. Nice. And truth. Interesting. Okay, let me see what the tarot cards have to say. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 4, the people who chose the blue calcite? What do men think about them? What are men's impressions? First thoughts? Anything would be useful. Ooh, the 9 of Swords, the 8 of Pentacles, the 6 of Swords, the 5 of Pentacles, the Star, Death. Interesting. All right. Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 4, the people who chose the blue calcite? What do men think about them? Impressions, feelings, thoughts. King of Cups, the 4 of Swords, the Standing Stone. I forget which this, I think this is Justice, the Standing Stone. Oh man, I gotta pause and check. All right, it's Justice. And the 8 of Cups, the 10 of Cups. Wow. And the Devil. Underneath Death. Very intense stuff here, number 4. So, yeah. Celebrate differences. You can shapeshift at will. Mastery is your destiny. Interesting. So, I'm getting multiple messages here. First and foremost, you come across as very attractive. You are marriage material to men. Because, I mean, they see you as someone that a lot of people would want to marry. Because you have the Star and you have the 10 of Cups underneath. Here. And yeah, so you just have, you know, you stand out, you have something unique about you. Maybe you're really popular. I think you come across as someone who is popular. You come across as someone who, even, I mean, some of you might have a large social media following, but you come across as someone who could have a large social media following, someone who's really popular and attractive, you know? And with the Ten of Cups, they see you as someone that they could build a legacy with, have a family with. And they also see you as, you know, really attractive in like a sexual way as well because of this devil energy. And it's really interesting because you have death and then the devil underneath. So they see you as someone who could transform them. I feel like some people, some men might be afraid that you might have too much of a powerful energy over them. Like you could, you know, be a little bit manipulative maybe, or they would have to change too much in order to be with you. I think for some of you more specifically, they see you as someone who has transformed. Like maybe you come from a background of addiction and they just see you as someone who can handle really tough situations. You've been through hell and back and you could come clean on the other side. You have recovered. So they see you as a really tough person, a very resilient person. This is probably also why you have that dragon with supernatural. So you do have this like larger than life, like I said, energy. I think they see you as someone who has a great destiny. And by the looks of these cards, you could be having a really great destiny. You have the Justice and then the Six of Swords. Really interesting. So with the Justice card, you just come across as someone who's really balanced, really fair. So this could be like Libra type of energy. Someone who's very self-contained, peaceful, at least on the surface. I'm getting this feeling of, you know, still waters run deep. You also come across as someone who has anxiety. Like you could come across as a bit wiry, maybe a bit anxious sometimes, maybe a little bit too introverted, too much of a worrier, you know. But you also come across as someone who has a lot of emotional intelligence, a lot of wisdom, someone who could lead others even in times of emotional turmoil. You might come across as someone who is into meditation, yoga. You also come across as someone who is very driven to progress materially, financially, in career. You come across as someone who has been through some stuff. So, I mean, depending on how much these men might know about your background, see how this resonates. But you come across as someone who has been through some stuff, definitely. Some harsh situations, some losses emotionally, maybe battling addictions. You've been through some dark times in your life. Or that's how you come across. You come across as someone who has been through stuff, you know, and therefore you come across as someone who's resilient and can handle crisis situations. And you also have this energy about you of self-sufficiency, like you don't want to ask for help financially or career-wise. You want to achieve everything by yourself. I feel like men have also seen some financial struggles from you. They see you as like the calm after the storm, not before the storm, but after the storm. Like you're someone who has gone through, like, this gives me like a bad girl sort of energy. Like maybe you've gone through a phase where you are more I don't know, into your dark side, maybe kind of a troublemaker, a rebel, whatever. But now you're more calm. Like you've come, you know, you've come on the other side, and now you're a transformed person. Like you're much more centered and self-aware, self-controlled, balanced, and wise. And for some of you, this could be like you may have gone through some kind of a physical transformation as well. So this could be maybe plastic surgery or weight loss or something like that. They see you as someone who has transformed in some way. But also still is in touch with that dark side. This is interesting. You have ask for help, and you have the Five of Pentacles, which is literally about asking for help. Wow, interesting. So I feel like some men might be hoping for you to ask them for help. So either they want to help, or they have some ulterior motive, or they just see you struggling and they're wondering, why doesn't this person ask for help? Because there could be people wanting to help. And I feel like this is especially when it comes to finances and career, but it could be just life situations in general. And truth. This is like a confirmation, or rather this Justice card, because this one came later, is a confirmation of this Truth card. Maybe you have some Critica placements in your horoscope. Like you're someone who is very honest, very blunt. And also very adventurous, because of that orca whale. So you definitely have this energy of uniqueness about you. This is like one of the main things that stands out here. But yeah, pretty much. So I want to see what the astrological insights are. So Spirit, what can you tell me for pile number 4, the blue calcite people? How do men see them, Spirit? Tell me. How do men see them? How do men see pile number 4, Spirit? Tell me. So, Scorpio, I'm not surprised because you have the Death card. Virgo, the Sun, Mars, you're a tough person. The Moon, Aquarius. So that's, to me, Aquarius is that star energy. 5th house, creative, more Sun, Leo energy, because the 5th house corresponds to Leo. 8th house, more Scorpio energy. I'm not surprised. 11th house, this is about touching large audiences, and it's more Aquarian energy. 3rd house, this is about communication and willpower. 2nd house, this is... Alright, so my camera sort of interrupted in the middle of it and said that I have reached my recording maximum or something. Anyway, so you have the 2nd house twice, and you have the 10th house. So this shows like you come across as someone who touches large audiences. So this is a confirmation, like all of these, multiple of these are confirmations of the star card. Aquarius, the moon, the sun, 5th house. 5th house is entertainment, creativity, creative expression, teaching. 11th house is about large audiences. 2nd house is about the voice. 3rd house is communication. 10th house is about status and visibility. So you could be someone who, like, they see you as someone who touches a lot of people, large masses. So this could be someone who has, like, they see you as someone who has a large media following. They also see you as feminine, having a soft side, but also very tough as well. With the Mars and the Sun energy. So they see you as really creative, really tough, masculine as well. Like you're a go-getter, and you are someone who is very, very creative. And when it comes to what is attractive, like, this is interesting because this shows that men see your soul. And I know this sounds very creepy, but like they see the inner you, you know, they see your energy, and that's what makes you attractive with that Sun energy. So the fact that even when you're going through a dark mood, you're not one to share it or like rain on someone else's parade. You know, you keep it to yourself, and you actually just show a sunny side to other people. And you also have this ability to just create enthusiasm and fun and get in touch with a kind of childlike innocence of just living in the moment, enjoying experiences for the sake of enjoying them. And there's also a lot of something unique about you because of this Aquarius. So it could be about your appearance, could be about your personality, could be both. Maybe there's just something very unique about your outlook. Because you have, like, it's really weird how it came out, the moon in Aquarius. Because the moon in Vedic astrology is about the mind and the general way you express yourself, your basic personality. So maybe you just have this very independent energy, very non-conforming sort of energy. And that's what comes across to men and makes you come across as attractive. And I think with Aquarius, it's like men see you as someone who can be a great friend as well. And with Mars, they see you as pretty tough as well. Like, you have an interesting blend of masculine and feminine. And you have, for some of you, you could have a distinctly androgynous sort of energy because of this Aquarius. And with Scorpio, you also come across as really deep, like someone who thinks really deep thoughts and has, how should I put it? Like, you see things that are beyond the surface, you know, a natural sort of detective, inquisitive, investigative sort of mind. You see stuff that other people don't see. And I think, yeah, and with Scorpio, there's also like a bit of a touch of like mystery and also sexiness. So basically everything that the Devil card kind of represents as well. 8th house as well. So 8th house in Scorpio is a confirmation that you come across as someone who can handle crisis situations. Mars as well. And also with the Mars and the Sun, you can come across as someone who's pretty physical, like you like physical activity. Maybe you're quite athletic. And when it comes to what really stands out about you in the eyes of men when it comes to your personality and also with regards to your appearance, what really could stand out is your bone structure. Maybe many of you have high cheekbones, I would say. Another thing that could stand out is your laughter, your voice, your manner of communication, your face. Maybe you have a particularly pretty face. You do have kind of like a distinct sort of sensuous energy about you, but it's probably not like in your face sort of energy. It's quite like a subtle undercurrent. And another thing that stands out is your laughter, your smile, maybe your hands and your arms, your chest area. And there could be something about how you express yourself, how you maybe dress up, accessorize, stuff like that. Like your style could come across as quite creative, and that really catches the eye and, you know, makes men notice you. You have this kind of an inner glow and confidence about you. That's what you exude. All right, so this is pretty much what I can see for you. So if you have liked the video, don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel, and click on the notifications bell to see when I will post a new video. And also, if you're interested in a personal consultation, I do tarot readings, and you can check out the video description. I will leave my email address there. You can write me for more details. And I will also link a link to reviews that I've gotten for private readings up until this point, in case you're curious to see them. So, and also please comment in the comment section with anything that you would care to share, what resonated, what didn't resonate, maybe ideas for future readings. I would greatly appreciate that. And also, last but not least, I do have an astrology channel, and I will be linking it in the video description as well as in the pinned comment. And go ahead and check it out if you're interested in astrology. Maybe subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. So thank you very much for listening to this reading, and I hope to hear you at I hope to see you, at my next tarot reading on this channel. So yes, thank you and bye.